Hi,
Can I please know your name?
my name is Tsewang Namgail.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your job here at SLC or Snow Leopard Conservancy?
I'm the director here and I oversee all the conservation programs, the research, environmental education, and all of that. So I oversee all the programs and also conducting some research.
Can you give me some names of the programs that you like you execute?
Homestays, rural tourism, that is something that we do with local communities, encouraging them to be part of the snow leopard conservation. And then we do environmental workshops in colleges, university, and schools, even in monasteries, and also making livestock pens snow leopard proof, coral construction. So most of our activities are actually divided under three verticals: research, conservation, and education. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how we have organized.
What do you research? Like what do you do while you're researching?
Researching ecology of the snow leopard. How do they live? Where do they live? Where are they distributed in the landscape? And what kind of prey species they're feeding on? And also the prey species. It's their ecology, what kind of challenges they're facing, and that sort of things. Yeah.
So how do you conserve the snow leopards?
We conserve it by working with local communities. We engage them in decision making and engage them in also research and sometimes conservation activities. Basically, that's our forte, to work with local communities and engage them in at all levels of conservation. Before this organization came into being, local people were not listened to much. They were not part of the decision making process, and
They were not consulted about anything.
yeah, after the organization started working with them, and there's been a paradigm shift, so to speak, in wildlife conservation in Ladakh. Basically, conservation of snow leopard with local communities. Yeah.
Do you work in conservation of any other animals such as blue sheep, bears, ibex?
Of course, snow leopard does not live in a vacuum. It depends on a lot of the entire ecosystem needs to be healthy and functioning, and for that, all the prey species are important. So, blue sheep is a very important prey species for the snow leopard, and similarly, Asiatic ibex is important, and other sympatric species also, other carnivore species that coexist with snow leopard. We also need to understand their distribution, abundance, and their populations in different parts of Ladakh. Yeah, we do a range of activities to conserve the snow leopards, and it's not just when it comes to conservation of an animal. It's just not just about the
One
biology
animal.
and ecology, the socio-economy of the people who are sharing resources with these animals.
How do you what is the situation of human animal conflict here?
It is improving. It's not as serious as it used to be 20, 30 years ago, before we put in all these conservation measures in place. There was a very serious conflict, mostly in the form of snow leopard getting inside livestock pens and killing livestock, mostly sheep and goats, and angry farmers retaliating and killing snow leopards in revenge. And that was very serious. After we put in place all these conservation measures, now it's improving. There's a greater understanding among people of these kind of conflicts, and yeah, it's improving.
So, what are the examples of what has been done? Like, what has happened that suddenly it's improving?
First of all, we mitigated the snow leopard human conflict by providing wire mesh to local communities, local people, to cover the roof of these livestock pens, because Ladakh is a treeless. There's a resource scarcity, so people don't have enough resources to cover the roof of some of these livestock pens. and we provided the wire mesh to cover the rooftop, and we helped them strengthening the door and door frames, and that was the first intervention. And after that, once that was taken care of, then we further helped them in developing tourism, ecotourism, through the homestays and rural tourism, and that is something that took a lot of our time and effort. And today we have a thriving snow leopard tourism happening in Ladakh, and it's thanks to all these programs, the homestays. A lot of tourists come and stay with people in these rural villages, and then they see a snow leopard, and that gives income generation opportunities to the local people, which helps in offsetting the livestock loss to snow leopards. These are the major ones, and there are other ones also, like the handicraft development, for instance. We train people in making all these handicrafts, and they also generate income through that.
Like this.
These are
Finger
the main
puppets.
ones, yeah.
So, how many homestays do you like oversee?
Currently, we have over 200 homestays all across Ladakh. Initially, they were put along trekking trails, but today the tourist composition has changed. There are a lot of domestic tourists who do not go on treks, and therefore we have these homestays in different villages,
Yeah.
and yeah.
How do you practice sustainability to be so that you achieve the Top Tigers Award?
Sustainable, first of all, we need to understand what it exactly it means. The term itself is a little bit loose. Sustainable means like the definition to support. So what are the things that support any activity that you do in a particular area? How we make it sustainable? The homestay program is an epitome of sustainability. Basically, it starts very small, and we have been scaling it up in increments, slowly looking at the impact of the activity on the local ecology and the local environment, and of course using all locally sourced materials. We do not encourage people to buy things which are alien to the culture and ecology, and that is very important. And fourth, and the most important one, is the local people should have a say in any kind of developmental activity in a region. If though these four things are not there, these elements are not there in a program or any developmental project, then that is not sustainable. The homestay program ticks all of these boxes, and that's why it's sustainable.
So, how do you encourage the young generation, like people like me, older, like they're 18 years old? Because if they're, let's say in their home, a snow leopard has eaten lots of livestock, so their parents will be very angry. They'll try to kill the snow leopard. So that will also seed hate in the kid for snow leopards. So how do you tell the kids, like how do you educate them about snow leopards, that we need to make better shelters so that they don't harm us, but then they're also really important for the ecosystem, so we cannot harm them? How do you try to forge a balance between human and snow leopard?
Yeah, that's the key of educating and raising awareness among kids and children, students. That's what we do. For instance, how a snow leopard is important in preventing floods in a village through the ecological linkage of snow leopard controlling the population of mountain sheep and goats, and that preventing overgrazing, and that preventing soil erosion,
and that
then
preventing
floods.
floods.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And that's more acute in places like Ladakh, where the slopes are barren, it's quite steep, and so
The flood comes down
yeah,
easy.
yeah, the soil gets washed down and eroded pretty easily compared to in the plains, for instance. Yeah.
So what should tourists know about Ladakh except for Pangyong Lake and valleys and all? Like the NC Konsi Valley?
Nubra Valley.
Nubra
Nubra
Valley.
Valley. They should appreciate the local culture and the local environment and ecology, which we talked about some. But basically, what is happening is that with the booming tourism, a lot of tourists are going to eastern part of Ladakh, for instance, and they are just going off-roading, and that destroys the topsoil, and what they need to understand is that the that topsoil to form, it takes hundreds of years because of the low organic
Yeah.
content and low humidity. It takes a long time, for that topsoil to form,
By going
and
off.
by going off road,
They are
they
destroying
destroy it within seconds, basically, and then that's
Resetting
very-
hundreds of
yeah.
years of work.
that's very damaging to the grasslands and the pasture lands of nomadic herders. And it's important to appreciate their culture. When you appreciate their culture, then they take pride in their culture and
Yeah.
the environment and all of that. And it's good. It's a positive reinforcement in the conservation work that we do.
Okay, so to end of this interview, the final question is goofy but interesting.
Mm.
What is the most dangerous or surreal animal encounter you've ever had?
I wouldn't say dangerous, but
How
there are surreal animals. One thing that I remember, snow leopard is a very cute animal. There are some animals like the Tibetan sand fox, for instance. It's a very bizarre looking creature. If you look at its face, it has a squarish face. When I came across that animal the first time in 2004 in the Hanle Valley, I was
Yeah.
just taken aback and was kind of a little bit taken aback just looking at the
Newish
shape of the
animal.
face, the newish animal, and that was the first time actually a record of the Tibetan sand fox from Ladakh region, and I reported that first time,
Wow.
not just for Ladakh, but for the entire Indian subcontinent. And that was quite
That's
surreal
pretty
too.
cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to add? Like as such?
I would like to exhort all the students and young people of this country, especially, to understand all these ecosystem functioning and the ecological linkages and all. India is a very diverse country in its biodiversity. What you have down in the plains in Mumbai and Delhi and all, I mean, we don't have those animals. So it's important to go open-minded and try to learn as much as possible. That is important to take any conservation action or even to help the environment and develop things sustainably. That understanding is important. So I would encourage all the students to try to learn as much as possible. Thank you, and good luck. And it's great that young people like you are really getting into this, and we need that in India.
Well then guys, thank you so much. This is Jay Sharma or Jay the Wildlifer signing out.
Thank you.